going to be talking through his Monday baseball slate. Didn't play any baseball over the weekend. Had a nice little run and had a chance to win the 250 on Friday with a nice Texas stack at like zero ownership and just couldn't quite get the right pieces. So that was a little frustrating. Had a good golf weekend, but man, if I could have just talked myself into Denny McCarthy over McNeely, I could have made a fortune. But
well, dude, it was in the atmosphere. You know where Denny McCarthy went to college, right?
I know.
He went to UVA.
Yeah, he's a UVA guy. I know. It was all there for me, and I just couldn't get it together. But it was, nice to have another decent golf week. Really excited about the Masters this week. And Sheets, how was your weekend? How was Virginia? And we'll get into the slate after you're done.
In golf, I had 30% Akshay and lost, so that was very impressive.
Not that much above the field as it turned out. He got to be so popular.
Yeah.
It got crazy.
Then baseball, I had like 2 slates where I had swipes. I had, and one of them was one of your people. Like I had well, it was funny. I played like some random a relay throw, and I put in 15 entries, and I got like 5th or something for like a couple of thousand somehow. But that wasn't even it. I had like one of the Dodgers Cubs games from like I guess over the weekend. Maybe it was Friday. I forget. I was within like 5-6 points. I just needed like Gavin Lux to not go 0 for 9 in that game.
Right.
Like literally 0 for 9. Like everybody else, I needed like I could have had him or somebody else. And then there was another day where I needed like Miguel Garcia or Robert, and they've combined for 0 for 8. So
yeah.
But hey, listen, all you gotta do is try to put yourselves in positions for these things. That's all you can do. But it's just one slate tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Also, no basketball.
I didn't even look at basketball or try to.
I don't think there's any basketball.
No, there shouldn't be any because it's the national championship game.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's no basketball. And one little good thing happened. It was actually pretty good. I won a $10,000 seat to the MMA qualifier thing. It doesn't get you straight into the live final.
Yeah.
It gets you into the next thing. But it's worth $10,000 for now. And then what happens when this thing fills, and God knows how long they think they run 100 people down to 50, then down to 22, and the final 22 gets to go to live final. Last year I made the live final, but I wasn't able to actually attend, so I had to do it from whatever. So I promised I would try to get there this year. So at least I'm step one. At least I won that first part of it.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah. So you ready to get after today?
Yeah, let's get into it. We'll pull up your screen. We'll go game by game here. I think this is actually like a pretty nice little slate. It's I haven't had any of the big wins, but it's been nice to have like consistently decent baseball results. Something I used to caution people against, but I feel like I'm coming closer. So I keep having the small, tiny, profitable slates are it's a tough way to get there. So hopefully we can get a big win tonight. All right, but I really like this slate. So Seattle and Toronto, I believe, is up first. What do you have here?
So we have Castillo against Berrios, and boy, this is something that I don't see all too often. Well, first of all, I will say that like based on my initial runs of the pitchers, it's pretty wildly even for me. Like there's a lot of guys that I can play, and this is something I don't really see all too often. But if I'm not mistaken, I have Jose Berrios as the top point per dollar play on the slate. And I guess because he's 7,100 and shouldn't be against Seattle. So yeah, I have that. I have Castillo is just kind of okay, if that. But I get early ownership runs. I don't have him too highly owned. So we'll also have to figure all this stuff out. But I definitely think Berrios is very, very viable. And when it comes to the hitting part, I'm not really getting to either.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like, Berrios, I think, is going to end up being a little more popular than he's projected right now. But honestly, like I don't really want to play Castillo, and I still have the old Toronto stuff in my head. But I mean, Toronto scored 3 or less runs in 7 of their 10 games so far. They've been shut out twice. So I think you have to consider at least both these pitchers. Berrios is just really cheap, and we still aren't entirely sure how good Seattle's offense is. So I'm good with Barrios. I think he's going to be pretty popular.
Yeah.
The K prop with him today, I believe, is around 5.5. I mean, and I think the money's the whatever's on the under. He and Castillo actually are projected for a similar amount of strikeouts here. So it's kind of interesting, but I think Castillo as a low-owned play is a guy to consider, and I think Barrios is definitely someone I'm probably going to end up using some of. I didn't really get to any of the bats here, and maybe that's a mistake just because of the low ownership, but I don't think I need to.
Well, the thing is, I mean, but here's another thing I was going to point out to you when I pull up like SaberSim's like initial thing for today. There's a lot of big totals today. I mean,
well, let me point this out. There's not really a lot of big totals. There's something either wrong with the system or they just really are taking strong angles. Like that Detroit, that Philadelphia St. Louis game that you see with a 5.7 and 5.3.
Yeah,
is an 8.5 total with a 4.35 on each side. Okay. But SaberSim and the Suns has a different stance, and I'm always interested to see,
Okay, fair enough. Because I was wondering what was going on here. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a little weird, and I have a feeling it's throwing things off a little bit. It's also, and then there's weird ones like this Atlanta game, which comes up next, where Atlanta has got like a 6-run projection in real life, but they're projecting them only at 5.1, which is I think throwing off the ownership because, I mean, you can get into it, but I think Atlanta is the best stack on the slate, and I feel great with the idea of a low-owned Atlanta stack, and I have no idea why they would be low-owned.
Well, I mean, to
except for the price.
To coin a, to trademark myself a little bit, Atlanta with a 5.1 total. What about the last 5 innings?
Right.
I mean, this is, not to mention they're against Tehran, who could be, boy, oh boy, this is this could be really, really ugly.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, listen, like you said, aside from price. I mean, price is going to be the only thing that I imagine that stops you from considering this one of the top, if not the top stack. And yeah, I think that there's something going on with everything that's causing some of these totals and projections to be sort of weird. But the good thing is that'll work out. Nonetheless, I mean, I don't need a projection model to tell me that Atlanta bats against Tehran at home is going to be a good play. As far as the hitting goes, I don't know what the Mets record is. I don't know how they've been doing, but I imagine not that great. 10K is rough though for Morton. He's listen. You'll get him at low ownership, I suppose, but that's just a tough tag. So I'm probably going to be away from that. But just, I guess, try to play Atlanta as we can get to them, and that's about it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I have Atlanta as the top stack on the slate. I personally, and I'm kind of trying to figure out like, what?
I'm gonna see something myself.
I got to double check my other sources things. I don't know why the Sabres, why RG's page always says Atlanta's playing in a dome. Like it's not. And they say it every day. I don't know why they ever fix it. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna be heavily invested in Atlanta, and I do think I know that 10K is expensive, but maybe I should actually give that one a little more thought because the Mets, it's a pretty weak lineup outside of 2 spots. So I might have to just consider Morton just to be different. So that's something I'll definitely consider doing. Just hard to do with Atlanta because the pricing, obviously. All right, next up, Minnesota and my Dodgers.
What's the weather like there?
It's a little bit. It's cold. It's a little rainy, and there's wind blowing out to left at 9 miles an hour. Probably too early to know if there's going to be a weather issue, but it seems like it'll play. It just seems like it's got a little rain.
I'm getting Paxton as one of the plays here, and when I say one of the plays, I mean he's to me, I have him really close to some of the top guys as far as value goes, and significantly lower ownership. That's what I'm at least seeing for now. Maybe that's because of the wind going out or whatever it is, but I definitely think that he's in play for me. And Bailey over seems cheap, but I just I really don't feel like playing pitchers against the Dodgers. I just really just don't feel like it. And if I get to them in MME, sure, whatever. If I get to some Bailey over in MME, yeah, sure, he's cheap for the talent, but it's just a tough matchup. as far as hitting goes, I mean, like we always say, not we always say, but like probably just grab some Dodgers, pretty much every slate if you can do it. I don't see them being particularly high owned in this slate. As a matter of fact, I don't see them particularly high owned at all in this slate. So, and listen, like I said, Ober's not bad. This is not the greatest matchup either, but why not? I'll take a shot. They're probably not going to be my top choice, but if I get to them, fine. I guess that's all the analysis I have.
Yeah, no system. I don't think is going to give you them almost. Maybe Sabres will find a way, but I'd be very surprised because their projections are really bad. Yeah, same rule as always. The only difference I would say is that like you're going to get Atlanta low ownership in a better spot, and a better hitting conditions and everything. Maybe this is a better day to play Atlanta for me, but I'm never going to argue once about a Dodgers stack ever. And I think that yeah, they're definitely one of them. I don't have them at the top today. I have Atlanta at the top, but I do think the Dodgers are one of the better five to target. And I am surprised that I know Ober is talented, but like if 20% of people really play Bailey Ober tonight against the Dodgers, I just don't understand how that's possible. All right. Next up, Philadelphia, St. Louis, which is the one that I think that all the projections, honestly, I'm not going to take them seriously until I see them later. This doesn't seem right.
Well, I mean, I don't know what you mean. I'm getting just honestly.
Well, the run total is 11. They're the highest projected.
For me, my sheets and my whatever, I have St. Louis rated like ninth. So I'm not getting.
That's what I'm saying. That Saberson has them missed.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about, but I'm having them rated 4th, 5th, 6th. Okay, maybe a gracious 7th. And I'm getting Philly. Philly, I have pretty good. I have them rated like 4th. We'll have this Nicholas discussion a lot, right? I mean, he's like 2 cents, right? And he definitely has tricks, but I don't know. I'm certainly getting a bunch of Philly right now. So I currently have Philly, given like my modified stack rankings, I have them rated 4th, kind of 4th by themselves. So I got to respect that a little bit. And obviously, I'm not going to try either of these pitchers.
Yeah. I don't really have any interest in anything in this game.
Okay.
I don't like the pitching. I don't like the hitting. I think Nicholas is cheap enough to where I actually think that he's probably the thing I would be most interested in. It's just I don't like stacking against him because unless it's like a awesome, and it is a good offense with Philadelphia, but I mean there's a reason this run total is only 4.25 for Philadelphia. It's not, this is not like some amazing spot. Nicholas doesn't walk anybody. I have very, very little interest. If I stacked Philadelphia, it would only be on FanDuel.
What's happened to Philly? Aren't these guys still good? Like Schwarber, Castellanos, Harper, Turner, Real Muto? No.
What is that? What do you mean though? Like
no, I mean like again, I'm just like kind of just being like an idiot. I mean like you would think that these guys would look, project really well and look really good.
They've scored more than 5 runs only one time this season.
I know, I get it. I mean.
So they haven't really had their breaking out, but like, yeah, they're probably going to be better than they're playing right now. They've been really, really bad so far offensively, but yeah, I mean, it's something to do. I'm probably not, I'm not going to do it personally. I actually think that the play I'd like, I think I'd be more on the Cardinal side if I had to pick one, but I'm not really like, again, I just like some other stacks today. So it makes it really easy for the ones I don't like. It doesn't mean I wouldn't end up with a mini stack or be okay with a mini stack from either of these teams, but certainly nothing I'm trying to target. All right, what do you got with? Here's another one.
I tell you, I feel like I'm not like in the groove yet with baseball.
Oh yeah.
I just feel like I'm just not. I mean, I've been actually doing all right. I mean, I've hitting a couple of things like some random stuff, whatever. Probably even for the season actually, but I just don't feel like I'm in the groove. I'm sitting here. I'm like, is this where we're supposed to like talk about Andrew Heaney again, like we usually do? You know what I mean? Like I see Andrew Heaney, 7,500, tough matchup. And we used to just play him, when he's like 5% owned and not play him when he's chalk. And are we still supposed to do that? Or has things changed or whatever it is? I don't know. That's the first thing I ask. And then I look at Valdez, and Valdez, he's 8K. It certainly seems really cheap in general. And yet, when I look at the projections, I mean, I guess he rates okay, but not like great. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, like I have interest in Houston stack. I don't have any interest in Heaney. I think Valdez is like really an underrated play today. When you have all these situations, it's a really tough matchup. But you do have some young guys in there that maybe you could talk yourself into like the strikeouts, which we, again, I think they'll be middle of the roads. But you worry about the firepower with Texas. But I think Valdez is just a really good pitcher, and I understand he had a bad first start, but he was awesome in his last one. I think I could take a shot on Valdez because I don't feel strongly about a lot of the pitching today. I think taking some gambles at pitching makes some sense. The only issue I have is that it is a tough matchup, and there are offenses that are going to be low owned that I can attack too. So I don't know where I stand. Like I don't think I'd be talking about Valdez in general here. But just something about that 8K at low ownership is a little bit appealing. I think Houston is definitely a strong stack option today. Heaney has the exact amount of wildness and home run power, and you can run on him. And there's all kinds of things that just make him good to stack against in general. Now, every now and then he's going to strike out everybody he faces and pitch 5 innings. But for the most part, I think that you're going to side with the Houston bats here, and I definitely like them. I have them ranked right near the top of my favorite stacks today.
Okay, this next thing I know. Okay. This next thing that I know. Okay, so you have Arizona at Colorado. Okay, Arizona, who's a good team, they can hit a little bit, and they're in Colorado, and you have them projecting to be the best play. You have them projected to be the highest owned, and we're not playing them. All right, I think this I remember. And then you have, because part of it is you have like Kyle Freeland on the other side, who we also, at least whatever you taught me, maybe I don't mess with him either. I mean, he's like a Colorado specialist. He just when you think you're going to score 12 runs.
I don't feel that way about him. I really want to be. I don't want to get my name out there with associated with.
So don't play Arizona today. Let them have their 8-run total. What do you think their total's really going to be? 6?
It's below 6. It's below. It's same as Atlanta.
Let them get 6, then you lose anyway.
Yeah.
But they're just going to be chalky, and I just incline to always start with the idea of fading the road team in Colorado, and then work backwards from there. And the thing is, there are other options on the slate. It's not like they lay over the field. So the interesting question again, always to me, is whether you play the good pitcher at Colorado. And it's always dangerous, and it's always worth considering. They usually don't project as well as they do.
He's supposed to be the highest owned pitcher on the slate too.
Who, Gallen?
Yeah.
And that's almost something you never see.
Right. Or one of the
highest. So if that's the case, then we can talk about stacking Colorado if you want to. Right. So these core slates are always usually fun for me. I usually just don't play the road team there. They're usually just too highly owned for me. And I have to tell you, it's I can't recall it ever really bothering me. Like for it to bother me, what would have had to have happened was I played another stack that did okay, and then the Colorado stack scored 13 runs and beat me. It doesn't really happen all that often to me. So I have no problem just defaulting to I don't want to say Xing, but really reducing my road team against Colorado exposure in the tournaments that I play. You play cash, gotta do what you got to do. Play Ketel Marte and Corbin Carroll and whoever else you want to play over there. But as far as GPPs, I just assume not playing.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Arizona ends up all that popular, to be honest, today. I'm curious to see because they're really expensive too. For the most part, there's not like a cheap spot in there. There's nothing that makes it all work. You know what I mean? Everything is like 4K guys that are platooning, and then you've got the main part of your lineup are all 50, 200 or more. So you've got four guys over 5K. So I actually don't think they're going to be that popular. Yeah. And I like them as a stack because if I feel that same way before lock that they're not going to be that popular, I'm definitely going to be taking shots on Arizona here. For what it's worth, they've just completely torched Freeland in the past. I think that the Colorado if Gallen is really popular is an interesting way to get different. I don't know how much of I'm going to end up getting to because I like the other stacks a little bit better, and I just don't love this offense from Colorado. Even when they got there, it was that one weird, like, I love that everybody was posting the day after. They scored all their runs in the 9th inning, and everybody was taking victory laps. At the top of the 9th, they were down 8-1, and they scored 7 runs in the top of the 9th on these all on blue singles. And, like, people are doing victory laps as if they knew that they were going to kill a starting pitcher. Like, it was like so – and they didn't touch the starting pitcher. Like, it just always drives me nuts. But yeah, I mean, look, the Rockies, it's not a good lineup. It is Colorado, so it's probably worth taking some shots. It's not great hitting conditions for what it's worth. It's 55 degrees with winds blowing in from center, only 8 miles an hour, so nothing crazy. But yeah, obviously both offenses in play, and the question is, do you want to play a chalky Gallen if he is going to be chalky? And if he's above 30%, I won't play him. If he's somewhere in the 20s, I think it's doable because his strikeout rate versus these guys should be like, I mean, by far the highest on the slate. So I'm totally open to all those 3 aspects of this game. But as of right now, Arizona's bats are my favorite.
For what it's worth, I think that I'm looking at the ownerships here. I can't imagine Gallen being. I shouldn't say he's only 8,200. I was about to say, I can't imagine being. Yeah, I have him currently at 25% ownership. I guess so. Well, Snell's going to be the chalk, right? I mean, imagine.
I guess so.
We'll get there. I guess we'll get there.
Yeah, tough matchup too for that one. That's
what team is he on? He's on San Francisco, right?
Oh yeah, he's never mind. No, not tough matchup.
Okay.
Just a low strikeout matchup. All right. Next up, we have Tampa Bay and then the Angels.
Yeah, so you'll have to talk me off of these guys. Probably, I don't want to say too many times, but at least sometimes this year. So I'm getting Tampa as tied with Houston for the second top, overall value on the slate. Always have pinch hit risk with these turkeys, but that's what I'm getting right now. Paradis, I can't help him. Arozarena, and I have these other guys: Yandy Diaz, Caballero, Ramirez. I have those guys. That's where I have them right now. I'm not really getting to Angels, really, and I'm not getting to any of the pitching.
Yeah, like I don't think I'm really interested in the pitching, but I'm not really interested in the hitting either. I don't really like picking on Tyler Anderson. It's earlier in the year and the totals, you see people winning with 140 points on some slates. That's going to happen more early in the season. So I guess any stack could be viable, but 11-mile-an-hour winds blowing in from left against the left-handed pitcher. I just can't quite get to it myself. So this game feels like a little bit. I mean, look, again, if I ended up with a mini stack, I wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. The one guy I can promise that I will not be. He finally got a hit. And Anthony Rendon finally went his year-long without a hit thing. I think I'm pretty much off this one, but I don't think that the Eflin is like an impossible idea for him to get there. But I just think that there's better spots to attack. And by the way, same with Tyler Anderson. I don't think he's that bad of a pitcher.
I actually have Eflin as kind of a play. I have him a little worse than Paxton, actually.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the Eflin play at all. I'm good with that. All right, what do you have next?
What do you think of Darvish here? So Darvish is 8,400. What does he pitch? 70 pitches, 78 pitches, 80 pitches. Now we also have to check the innings, right? 3.2, 5, 7 innings in a loss. So here I'm actually inclined to believe that I want to talk about the pitches, I guess. I don't know. I'm actually getting him as kind of an okay play. Not the top of the list or anything like that, but getting him kind of okay. I'm not getting to Assad right now. And as far as the hitting goes, pretty much neither.
Yeah, I think we're on the fairly. I'm not especially interested in the hitting, and I don't mind the idea of Darvish. I think it's a dangerous matchup, and it's again, ignore the early projections. I think that they're a little wonky this morning. I don't expect him to be 40% owned, and I don't expect his projection to be only 11 fantasy points either. I don't really know how this do work, but But yeah, Darvish is definitely a tournament guy I would take some shots on. I just, I warn everybody, the Cubs are a good team. They're tough. It is probably like not a bad idea. Like if it was a little bit of a smaller slate, I'd probably be encouraging like some Cubs, maybe not even just stacks. Just remember, like one of the Darvish you can run on, and there is a lot of guys who like to run on Chicago. So I wouldn't mind it. And also, he can give up some power too. So I wouldn't mind a little mini stack idea, but just again, too many other. I'm very into Atlanta today. I'm into Houston. I'm into Arizona. I like the Dodgers a little bit, and then
we have another game.
I know, and then I have one more coming up. That's what I was.
Okay, I thought you were wrapping up already.
No. just getting going. All right. So what do you got here, Sheets? Snell and
so as you were kind of alluding to, San Francisco doesn't. Washington doesn't strike out all that much, or at least they didn't. I don't know what's going on this year. Again, I'm like not up to speed. I know the reputation is they don't strike out that much. If that's still the case this year, then great. Because Snell is going to be very popular. He's going to be, I presume this is his home opener. And when he's not around, when he's not right on the plate, he could be annoying to play as a DFS player. Look, it's probably a good play, but how chalky does he have to be before we don't play him? I think that's a very, very reasonable question. I think what I am interested in are the I was about to say the Niners or are the Giants on the other side. I actually did play a little bit of Trevor Williams in his last start, which he was perfectly fine. He struggled a little bit, but he got through, and I think he might have gotten the win also. Possible. Yeah, he did get the win. I was actually sweating that game a little bit against his former team, by the way. And he was listen, they were very happy with him, but I don't know, man. I think San Francisco is a pretty good option here. So I do like San Francisco. I have them as one of my top stacks overall, actually. So I suppose Snell is a reasonable play, and San Francisco stack is a reasonable play, and I'm not getting near anything on Washington.
Yeah, I think we're going to be on a similar page here. I have San Francisco as one of the top stacks. I also love that they actually make the expensive stacks work because they're so cheap. So you can do a combination of a 5-3 with a 3-man San Francisco. You could do a 5-man and then play your 3 favorite Braves or something like that, or 3 favorite, Diamondbacks. You could do a 4-4 with them. I think that there's a lot of flexibility. So I'm very high on San Francisco today. And, Wade, Estrada, Chapman, they're just all below 4K. Yastrzemski below 4K. Lee is only 41. Soler only 43. Like just a very affordable lineup all the way through. Conforto only 4K. I'm in on this taking some shots here, and it's the time to play the Giants too. It feels better doing it earlier in the year where like the weather is actually better there than it is other places. It's like 60 degrees where other places like 40. Where later in the season it's going to be 40 degrees there and it's going to be 90 other places. And those are the days you don't want to stack the Giants. But I'm in on the Giants stack, and I really like doing it. Like I said, with Atlanta. With some Houston or with some Arizona or with the Dodgers. That's sort of how I would use, San Francisco. And I'm deciding still on the pitching. I'm going to have to do a little more digging. But Barrios is the value one that makes the most sense to me. Gallen, if he's not too popular. Nothing about Snell feels fishy to me tonight. First start of the season, we know he gets himself into trouble. When we let him throw like 70 pitches? We've seen that happen before. It just feels like I don't feel like I can just like launch into it and feel comfortable with it. So, but I kind of feel that way.
Why do you imagine why do you imagine that this is his first start of the season? Is he hurt or?
Yeah, he's coming off of an injury in the off and something in the off season.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as I know, like he would have started it otherwise. But yeah, like so obviously Snell has the massive upside. Maybe playing Morton as a pivot is something that you can consider doing as well. So kind of a fun slate. It's got like some real options here that I like.
I gotta think of this freaking Colorado thing. I just presumed that Arizona was going to be huge chalk and just whatever it is. But if we'll be able to get to either them or Atlanta somehow, maybe we're going to end up playing Nicolas after all. It's like.
Yeah, and I'm trying to take a quick look at Goldie's ownership and see what he's got, because It does seem like it's a little spread. Yeah, he's got like Arizona. That's where he's got Arizona a lot more popular than Saberson does, and then he's got like some of the Houston bats, Philadelphia, Tampa Bay. I'm totally good with just playing the lower owned Atlanta, San Francisco side and just hope it works out for me.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to play the Mikolas guys. I want at least some upside, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. And the one good thing about Mikolas is he can roll through innings if things are going well, because he's going to be right around the plate. He doesn't really have another way of pitching. All right, we appreciate all you guys having a bunch of viewers early. Please give us the like, the thumbs up, and all that stuff. Sheets, and we'll be live at 6 Eastern to talk a little baseball. Maybe if throw out some championship NBA, some NCAA title championship bets.
I guess.
What's that?
I guess UConn's tough.
That's what I was going to say. It's a pretty straightforward bet. Just bet on UConn.
What's the spread there? Like 6 or something?
I think it's 6.5. I'm not 100% sure.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm staring at this. I'm looking at these pictures. I'm just trying to like figure this out. And like my initial Saberson runs are getting me stuff I really don't want. Like Gallen, like Mikolas combinations and stuff like that. Like I really don't feel like playing Gallen as chalk in Colorado. I wasn't aware that this was going to be. I should have been aware because just to see the price.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to play Mikolas either. Maybe I should go back to those 2 mid-range guys. Maybe you're not yours, but maybe that Eflin idea isn't the worst idea in the world. Or like some like Eflin Paxton combination or something like that. And not have to deal with the Gallen, not have to deal with the Snell, not have to deal with the Mikolas, situation, which I'm getting too much of. And Barrios is going to be chalky. So if I could do that, I'm just kind of just talking through this.
Mm-hmm.
Like you play Paxton, Eflin, that combination could be low owned, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the Eflin thing's interesting. I think like Eflin, Morton are like the 2 interesting different pitchers.
Yeah.
But we'll see you guys live at 6 Eastern. It's we'll do some builds. We'll talk some stuff there.
Yeah.